Okay, here, folks, here we go. Black Friday. Get some light on there. So, I was kind of doing some stuff on the side, putting together this 25 pounder by none other than Plastic Soldier Company. Oh, I see. That's how it can attach. Yeah, I want to make the gun like available to be in moving mode and mounting mode, and switch between the two. I don't know. It's just kind of nice to have an option. And the roof isn't glued. I'm having decisions issues with this model. I'm having decisions issue with the model. We don't need these. And I like Plastic Soldier Company, but man, every time I put something together by them, I run into unexpected stuff. In the case of this one, it's just the options aren't really labeled. This piece, and I'm an experienced model builder. This piece here really attached really strange, and yeah, I guess that's where it fits. But that doesn't stay in place. I'm not going to leave it attached like this. I'm going to leave it loose on the base, and that way we can set it up firing or moving if we need to. And I really like their plastic, but when you put it under pressure or you put it under friction, it changes color almost to the point where I think it's going to break. And I don't really know what's going on there. It's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird in that way. Anyhow, so that's the cannon built. I guess I can build the other cannon before somebody shows up. Hopefully we'll have, I don't know, it is just a Friday for everybody, the rest of the world. There he is. There's Marcus. Well, I guess I'll put the other one together, since there's no doubt about that, but these are all the extra parts that come to the cart and the pheasant gun. I don't really have a use for the pheasant gun, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to cast these wheels, or it's really worth my time to cast an extra set of wheels just to have a pheasant gun. No, no new ideas. I'm completely. Did I show you any of the detail stuff? I don't know if I can pull this close enough. See if I don't bring this down upon my head. Actually, my head's repairable. Or maybe there's no cure for my head, but I don't want to damage my shit down here. Let's see if we can do this. There we go. Well, that's actually not that bad of a filming location. That's actually not that bad. It's not in my way. And I think I can see the text a little bit better. At least I can look at the text and squint, and I'm not like, huh, you know. Let's try that for the day. Sound okay? So here's the roof option. There's your two roof options. So immediately I go, okay, we want the open top one, right? But then you're like, oh shit, there's nothing. And there's two dudes in on a date that are going to go in there and no other interior, right? And the vehicle obviously has other interiors to it, other interior pieces, but this doesn't fit on top of it. Even though the profile looks like it even has the X on it. You know, line up the X, put it down. You can't because it has this little flange on the end, on the inside, that interferes with this. The flange is raised, or the little lip is raised, and so is this. So it doesn't work. However, here's the part that's really a mind screw. If you put this little flange fits on there. So if it didn't have a roof at all, it'd be perfect. So, you ready for this? I have a weird theory. If I remove the X completely, and not only that, if I cut the top of this like this, and put this little portion down here and do the same in the front, I bet it'll fit like it's supposed to. But it doesn't tell you anywhere in these instructions. It doesn't even give you the example of that roof style in these instructions. Like, why would they go through all the trouble of doing this and casting, whatever, this beautiful tent, because it really is nice. And then not even put it in the instructions. Or even mention it. Like, what's wrong with you? You guys on the slow drugs or something? Not only that, if I go and glue this way, let me show you the side view. I'm sure I'll come to the right decision. I'm not, completely handicapped. Let's look at the roof. Going to look at the area above the little side view of this of the little side door of this vehicle. Fits on there pretty well. Now let's switch roofs. First of all, it doesn't fit well. Second of all, it has a little flange that comes down that encroaches in that opening. So, I don't know what's going on. It's just odd. Interesting. Never seen anything like that from PSC. Is there any photo evidence of that type of top variant? Oh, absolutely. It's not like it's a weird top. It's just, it won't go together. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to build the other gun. I'm just milling about. I know I'll make the right decision. Or just put it all away and paint figures. Let's put it away. But it's just kind of like, what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to cut this. I'm probably going to cut the back of this. It's not like I can't cut this. I mean, if any plastic cuts easy, it's Plastic Soldier Company plastic. So we're going to cut that off. Now, when I was building this 25 pounder, you see where I pushed this, the barrel actually can move up and down a little bit. I don't need it to, but as you push it in, as soon as it gets any friction, their plastic turns white. See if there's no glue on that. That's just from me pushing it in there. So, I don't know what's going on with these people. And I'm not knocking them. They're weird. And their stuff is like really durable. Like, it's very War Games friendly. And they got lots of rivets that are showing. So, I mean, there's a lot to like. Mr. Ben, hey, does it glue on top of the other for some reason? It does not. It does not. If you put this on here and you put this, on top of the other, no. No. If you put, even when I figured all that out, the fact that it has this drop down flange on the side of that mirror, like you can see it from the outside, like why is that there? And it doesn't fit right. It's just, and honestly, it looks a lot better than just, hey, here's this top. Okay, well, what are these two little things at the top? Oh, don't worry about that. It just looks like it's missing something. It looks like that you put a Lego. Lego goes on there, right? It's got the two little things. It just doesn't have a little Lego logo on it. And the vehicle's cute as hell. It looks like a little pig. What I don't like about it is you're forced to have, now the 15 millimeter has the windows shut, but this one with them being open, you got to put two dudes on a date. And if you don't put them in there, then it really doesn't have an interior you can see in there. Just really weird. And it's missing some details I would have liked on it. Like if you look at pictures of this Morris, there's usually a plate over the grill, over the engine grill, a small one. Kind of like what's on the back of this A13. There's a little plate on the back of this A13 here in the middle. Kind of like that. And that's almost like a placard. A placard would probably be more accurate. You know, I could glue one on there, but I'm like, do I really want to start doing stuff like that? You know. Let's build the other one. I'm not going to build the little thing yet. So I got to decide if I'm going to cast these wheels. The problem is I can only cast one side. So if I cast the wheels for the pheasant, well, you know what? I still don't have this piece. This little piece is this piece by itself, almost like a wishbone. And it attaches in the weirdest way. It attaches mostly on faith. And then somehow that's supposed to be able to carry the weight of this underneath. Which I'm not gonna glue it in the transport position, and I'm not gluing it in the firing position. I'm gonna leave it loose. That's how I roll. There might be a scenario where you got to ambush, these guys getting off the board or something. So it's just really, it's just strange. It's just really strange. And every one of their kits has had stuff like that. Here's optional parts. And it doesn't tell you those are optional parts. Alright. This is the sprue that we don't need this moment. What's this one? This is also the one we don't need. So the dudes that come in here, and it gives you some late war figures with the more smoother helmet. Okay? You get the British tin helmet in its traditional form, like those two, with almost like a straight brim. Like the brim isn't very thick, And then you've got the late war one that's now I've seen the late war helmet almost be like front heavy, like it's thicker in the top and it slopes more towards the back. I don't like the way that looks. It looks like there's something wrong with it. This one looks just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see what this thing looks like with folks in there. Seems the issue also persists with 15 millimeter version. I know, I watched the videos. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I guess I should make that video. I'd get a lot of, maybe I'll get a lot of views of it. Maybe I'll get a lot of hate mail. I don't know. I'm not trying to make them look bad. I'm like, what are you trying to do here? You know, like, I'm an experienced modeler. You know, what are these youngins trying to? How are they going to be able to deal with this? So I've definitely been trying to, measure twice, cut once kind of thing, putting these things together. That's why it's taking me so long putting these models together. Because I don't want to regret something. I want to be like, man, if you would have just been a little bit more calm, you would have built it correctly. Like, I'm not in a hurry. Ben, you off today, or did we catch you at the coffee break? Starting to feel like Mitch, man, these couple days. Like, off on the wrong fucking days, you know? Actually, he doesn't feel that way. I feel like he's off on the wrong fucking days. He's got them blue collar hours. I'm not royalty, I'm middle management. Middle babysitting. Why aren't you upper management? Even more headaches. And as I told somebody at work recently, I mean, my job shouldn't be this challenging. I've been doing some version of it for 30 freaking years. Okay, so he just attaches in there. I don't like that they're permanently in the vehicle. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this. This guy's got a worried face. Like he's been henpecked, good lord, by his boyfriend that's in the seat there. I think you turned to the wrong place back there. Anyway, once more into the breach, dear friends. Talk later, yep? Yep. Use working. Yeah, after the paint session, we watched that parade you guys have in your backyard. I don't know why, it's just a thing we do. Oh, this guy's, he's got it all up by his face now. Once more into the breach. Yeah, I don't mind these Plastic Soldier Company figures. But I don't like their Africa Core and Desert Rats. They look odd. They picked a different sculptor. Wish they had done more with the guy that did the Marines. I like that sculpting style a lot. But the Africa Core and I take it you don't have those guys, Marcus. The Africa Core, if you do, you can keep them. I don't like them. They're FAA-like. And that is not a compliment. Okay, this guy with a steering wheel and no console for it to go into is the equivalent of those things. Remember those things they had in the 80s where you had an invisible dog and it was just a leash that was just with no dog there? That's the equivalent of that. He has a leash with no vehicle. It's like he flies around in Wonder Woman's plane. Oh, yes, I remember. This guy's driving on the wrong side of the road with the wrong side of the windshield. Yeah, and that's all there is inside. What a cute couple. And they inbreed because they're twins. No, you don't have any of the PSC Ultracast figures. I do have some of the German and Soviet figures before the Ultracast versions. Yeah, I don't know what those look like. But they have multiple sculptors. Because those Marines look nice. I like the sculptor of that one. I don't know what we're going to do with those guys. All right. And then this one will get glued on the roof, but it depends on which roof, so I can't make that decision yet. So, and for that reason, that screw is out. I'm not going to build the pheasant. It's very limited. It's Tunisia. If a tiger comes out, I don't want somebody knocking it out that easy. Besides, a 6-pounder can knock out a tiger. We're going to build a little box for this. That way we'll have one set all built, except we don't know what's on the roof. Let's see what other errors we find in this thing. Assemble the limber wheels. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to cast them all the way around. It's just not really a priority for me. But I'm pretty convinced on the stuff that I was talking about, the Africa Corps numbers. Every time just look up 15th Panzer Division in Africa, and you're going to see one number. Except on the back of the turret, sometimes you'll see 3. And that's one thing I'm going to do. I'm definitely putting three numbers on the back of the turret. Because even though it's all second company, they're all going to have individual numbers. So is that what you're going to do? You're going to do the high numbers? You're going to do the 5, 6, 7s, and 8s? That's fine. I'll do the 1, 2, 3s, and the lucky 4s. I'm not building 21st. I'm not painting those numbers over the turret. And I'd have to hand paint them. Those decals, they won't work. And we'll pull these 2 out as well. I don't know that you really need these clippers, but I don't know, there's something satisfying about. They're good for like machine guns and stuff where you're not twisting stuff before you take them off of here. Assemble this. Okay, so we're going to have this one. And we're going to have this little guy. I'm going to do 8 for the Panzer II. Great chart you sent over. It was interesting to see that the 2nd Battalion's companies looked like they were cut short a platoon of Panzer IIIs. I didn't even notice that. Wait a second. Cut short a platoon of Panzer IIIs. Well, without looking at the chart, one thing they changed from the earlier to the later, assuming that chart is accurate, is that earlier in the war, and this even goes for Barbarossa, the first 3 companies, whether it's 1, 2, and 3, or 5, 6, and 7, had Panzer IIs in them to some degree. And they did away with that. And really, the last number shouldn't be higher than... It's never higher than 5. And really should probably be 4 or later. So, like the highest number in... and I have a feeling that the 4th and the 8th companies are going to have less... Well, they do have less vehicles than the first 3. Because there's just less Mark 4s in them. There's less Mark 4s in them. If I remember correctly, if you add the Mark 2s and 4s in the 4th and 8th company, you have about the same number of tanks of just straight 3s. So, and I don't know if they use the Mark 2s like, hey, we're gonna keep the Mark 4s over here and they're gonna provide fire support. Send the Mark 2s in to do a little bit of reconnaissance. I don't know, there's got to be some kind of a rationale. The Mark 4s aren't less mobile than a Mark 3. They weigh the same within a ton, so it's not like it's a big difference. They just have a gun with a lot more high explosive that has in it. Has a lot more high explosive than the 75. That's it. The 75 AP L24 penetrates a little bit worse than the one in the. Oh, I found another thing. Where is it? I got my Panzertruppen book about 11:30 in the morning. I'm like, let's do some digging. Okay. Off of my Panzertruppen book. Now this is only good. Well, I wrote down for Operation Crusader what the 2 Panzer regiments had at the beginning. But when they first landed, so the 5th Light Division ends up turning into the 21st Panzer. And it has the Panzer I's that are in it. And it also has that's the one that came in first. Panzer Regiment 8, which is the core of 15th Panzer Division, doesn't show up until around May. And according to the Panzertruppen book, most of its Panzer IIIs were H's. Didn't say all, it said most of its Panzer IIIs are H's. So, if they were H's in May, it'd be more likely for them to be H's the later you go. It's not like all of a sudden we get a fresh shipment of an earlier model, just using logic. So, but anyways, for Operation Crusader, I wrote down the breakdown of the 2 units. So, Panzer Regiment 8 is a 15th Panzer Division. The beginning of Operation Crusader had 42 Panzer IIs, 77 Panzer IIIs, 21 Panzer IVs, 4 Kleine command tanks, and 6 Grosse command tanks, and 5 captured Matildas. Well, I'm not going to model any captured Matildas. Sorry. I'm not going to do that. So it's basically I have 4 command tanks that are light. So they'd be like those the ones with Panzer ones with little preachy things, whatever they're called, 265s, I think. SDK of Z265s. I think that's what it is. I could be wrong. But, you know, it's basically a Panzer 1 with a pulpit. And then the other one's the Grosse Panzer. Yeah, that's just a Mark III. Just a Mark III with a dummy gun. Like the commander of Panzer Regiment 8. What's his name? Starts with a K. I can't remember what his name is right now. He actually, in one of the engagements, talked about he found himself in an enemy artillery position. Like they did an overrun towards the end of Crusader. He was like in the middle of an artillery position with his tank with no gun in it. Well, he still had a machine gun, but don't need to be doing that. Hey, it's an idea for a scenario. And then Panzer Regiment 5 at Operation Crusader had 35 Panzer IIs, 68 Panzer IIIs, 17 Panzer IVs, and 4 command tanks based on a Mark III. So, anyhow, there's actually quite a bit of detail in that book. As far as engagements in Operation Crusader, like quite a bit. I still got to finish Tick's video though. Okay, now what I do is I try to fit these wheels on, and if they're on there tight enough, I just leave them alone. Oh, these go all the way through. These are different. That must be the rationale for painting 2s and 4s. Yep. And I still haven't figured out what the number color is. Although the single-digit number tanks, I've almost always seen them not have hollow numbers. They're either solid red or solid black or black with white around them or red with white around them. That's usually the 4 versions that I've seen. The hollow numbers go in the 21st Panzer Division. The 5th Light Division seems to have always had, or almost all of the time, had hollow numbers with the hollow white. So white outline numbers and big. I know I should probably make a video about that, but then there'll be some nerd burglar. You need to consider. I'm going to say, most of the time, show me the evidence. I don't make this stuff up, I don't just decide, well, this is how they're going to have their tanks labeled. Like, I didn't take the pictures. If I decided how they made their tanks painted, I wouldn't have decided anybody to have the freaking numbers go over the freaking doors where it distorts the decal. It's not that much of a problem when you're talking about well, even the Mark IV F2s. The Mark IV F2s have side doors on their turrets, which they eventually did away with the Gs, but the Gs aren't going to show up until Tunisia. And they didn't have that many of them. And I actually like the way the tank looks with the side doors on the shirt better. But I know it's impractical from a integrity of the vehicle standpoint, but shame because you like the hollow numbers. I don't have a preference on the number styles. I like them all. Um, yeah, I like them all. And I don't mind the big numbers. They just, like I said, you put them on a decal. First, I didn't like how they looked. I don't like how they looked in photographic evidence. But I'm like, okay, well, that's what they used. Then that's what we need to paint them like. Oh, we're about to make a boo boo. There we go. Don't be handicapped, Tony. Okay. There's that one. This goes over. There's just so many pitfalls. Even being careful, there's so many pitfalls. And don't get me wrong, I actually like putting models together. Some people are like really grumpy about, oh, I might build models. And I like it. I'm okay with it. Let's see. This is going to join where? Where are the join points? I see. I had a freaking crazy dream just before I woke up. It involved my mom and my dad, who's not around anymore. I frequently have dreams about my dad. They're never bad. I mean, he didn't pass away that long ago, but okay, there's that. And this goes towards the inside, huh? Okay, yep, just like that. Well, you can still paint them with whatever numbers you want. I won't tell anybody, but it is going to cost you a monthly subscription fee. Because that's how I roll, right? I looked at a photo this day on one of the modeling groups, and it was this guy that was asking about, hey, are these models any good? I said, I've been building this whatever tank. I don't want to out them or anything. And it's the worst paint job I've seen. So I'm not going to say that to the guy because maybe he's learning, right? Like this fits in there plenty tight, no reason to glue it too. Like that's not coming out. Same thing with this one. All right, now. So how does this little piggy haul these things? Which is the long rod? Great, doesn't show you a picture of it. Boy, got to do everything yourself. Yeah, because one goes here, and then this goes. Oh, don't be stupid, Tony. Okay. There's not an option for them. I can't screw that up that way. And it doesn't fit in there. Doesn't fit in the hook. That's fine. So that's how it goes together. Yeah, might have a mission that you need to get these off the board. Like they're not even in the, they're not even in the game. Yeah. Well, if I cast these wheels again, we could make a pheasant. But I still wouldn't have this little wishbone. I still need the wishbone. And the barrel didn't come drilled, but that's okay. All right. Now that we see what it looks like, now I can put this away. Infinitely quicker to build than the Airfix kit. But you know what? The Airfix kit doesn't have as many issues. It has different issues. It's definitely not it's not noob friendly, but there's no doubt where some of the pieces go. I'm sure I'll make the right decision when the time comes to do it. Let's get our desert rats on. And these figures look fantabulous. These are my favorite. I like these better than any of my DBA armies too. I don't know, just something about, oh, these guys are going to be boring. No, they're not. What? What'd you call me? What? Actually, what I really should do is the loading crew. Get one of these. Let's get these guys out. And we're going to go ahead and open the legs up on him too. Because it's obvious we need the legs more open. Get one of these stupid things that comes in, this cheap ass paintbrush set, and open his legs up. And if we break him, we break him. But he's not going to fit inside he's not going to be able to fit inside the gun the way he is. Spread him, boy. Okay. We'll have to repaint that. That's okay. We'll work on the other figures next. Ooh. His arm cracked. No problem. You dry over there. You really like my 88 crew. Well, let's not start working on them just yet, because then I won't have anything to show for it. We'll get there. Yeah, the 88 gun crew. I mean, that's a scenario right there. You got an 88 gun crew, and maybe they're facing the wrong way, and they sing the squad and with the Bren carrier or whatever to attack them. Yeah, just to see how different things work. Okay, let's paint this gun crew. Now, they're wearing battle dress, and we want to use them for the desert. and we're going to paint them in desert colors. So I think what I'm going to use is a base color. I'm going to use this khaki. And it looks like I'm going to have to paint some of the straps because they've like disappeared and shit like that. Yep. Let's glue his happy ass back on. Okay, well, you've been fired. You're part of the other crew now. I gotta take some of this stuff off, otherwise super glue doesn't like gluing into itself. You give me too much trouble, I'll put epoxy on it. He landed just wrong so that he popped off the stand. Comrade Popov. Let's use this slower super glue. Let's see how this works. You got to go to work today at your normal time, Marcus? Should let you work from home. Maybe you won't want, maybe you don't want to work from home. You got too many distractions there. One thing that always bugged me when my wife was not now, but now she's getting her comeuppance. I'd leave for work before her and get home afterwards. I'm like, damn it. Okay. We got a couple new of these. Not like I'm gonna throw these away. I'm not in any position to clean them right now. All right, we have some water. I want a little bit. I want a little bit more. You work from home, but I don't need to do the morning breakfast routine for your daughter because there's no school. That's right. Have some cereal like the rest of America. Eat some Cocoa Puffs. Or, whatever. All right. Black. Black it is. This guy should fit inside the... I think he should fit inside the gun. Yeah, I think we can wedge them in there. I'm going to have to leave them in there, unfortunately. Okay. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go ahead and start off with... Oh man, I put the brushes all the way over here so I can't see them. Let's see. We need you. We need you. We need you. And we need you. Okay. Just something to have the painted here too. Oh, you work from home all the time? Then why do you live in New York? They can pay you the same and you could go back to Virginia. or wherever you came from. Now, I'm sure there's a catch. You probably have to go to the office once in a while, and the office is up there. Man, what's it like to work from home? Well, the people that work from home, I bet they have an issue that's like they could be called. They have. There's not like, well, if after 5 o'clock I don't answer anything or whatever. Whereas I do, I don't. Once I leave work, I'm like, the place doesn't exist. It's like another universe. It keeps me from going crazy. I can't even. Oh, we need one of those. Can't even check my email from the from my phone. By design, it just gives people a crutch. See, I don't think Chad has access to any Crusaders. So I'm gonna have to get either Airfix kits for the Crusaders, which are expensive, and you have to put them together, or the S models, which you have to put them together, but not that much. They make an S model for the close support Crusader, and it's apparently out of production. There's one guy in Taiwan that's trying to sell a copy of it for $26 shipped or whatever, which is $13 a tank. It's not too bad. I know it's got other decals. I'm just wondering what's in there. I'm not convinced that there's what the organization of those close support tanks are, other than they're in the headquarters company. And in some of those battles, all they did was had smoke. They didn't even have HE. I do that in a heartbeat, but New York City is good for meeting people and finance. Also, your daughter loves her gym and gymnastics rules right now. 3.5 more years. Well, you're saving a car payment, so, there's that. Or you're saving 2 car payments and 2 insurance payments. Or, if your daughter is old enough to drive, you're saving 3 car. Well, my daughter doesn't have a car payment car, but you're saving 3 cars and 3 insurances. So I take it that's a crazy place in New Year's. Was I in New Year's? No, we were in Connecticut. We were in Connecticut during the New Year's when we were up there. I've actually spent 2 New Years in Connecticut. The Millennium was in Connecticut. I fucked up, didn't I? I used British uniform. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave them with British uniform pants. And I'm going to work my magic. Because I'm a sorcerer. We're not going to leave them the regular British uniform color, though. They'll be lightened way up. Well, you use this color as a base. I don't want these guys all look the same anyways. And we get to the Germans, it's going to be really crazy. The Germans are really crazy. I really need more water in here. I'll be right back. I better put my glasses. I might not make it out of this room. I gotta feel around like Velma. Okay, it was just too deep inside that container. Yeah, I'm not scared of crowds, but man, crowds are just, you want to go there and you can't. That's like restricting my freedom. I don't like that. That's let's get, we didn't get white out here. Let's get white out here. Whoa, easy there. Maybe I'll go to the hobby store today and pick up those paints that I was low on. Maybe. Maybe not. Daughter's here all day. We're supposed to be putting Christmas up today. Bringing it down. First time pulling Christmas down at this house. It should be easier than the other place. There's no attic. I do have an attic here, but it's scary. We're just gonna add white to this. Well, except I took too big a step. I'm gonna rinse here. That attic scares the shit out of me. It is just too high. And there's nothing to hold on to. The opening is in the middle of the garage, so it's not up against a wall, and it doesn't even have a telescoping stair thing. So you got to use a ladder. I failed a morale check going up there. My brother bought his own special ladder that I was more comfortable with. He went up first. He didn't fall. I went up. It's cool, but it's funny. The front of my house, they even has a window up there. Like, you board somebody up there that you don't want to be, you don't ever want to see again. It's a solitary confinement suite. It's actually pretty big, but it could totally be like a bonus room or something like that. But a game room, yeah. I'm not making the hottest room in the house where I'm gonna game in. Like, what did I do wrong? You put your Michigan Toy Soldier paint supplies order. I'm trying the Japanese uniform color in this order. Thus far, I've only been using your own blend. Well, look at it as there's something else that you can mix in. I think the Japanese soldier uniform is extremely mustardy, But with that said, I haven't painted Japanese and I'll probably use it. With the way I paint, I can pretty much use any color. Look, I'm even using the wrong color that I didn't even want. And I'll be happy with the results. This is literally like the thing I'm the most comfortable with. Like painting figures, painting faces, anything like that. I got this. This is child's play for me. However, this is a little wet, so we can't proceed with that. I don't want the colors to mix together. So we'll go and paint the other guy's pants. Now we'll use the color we wanted to use, which is khaki. As soon as I find it. There it is. Well, I was going to order some stuff from AliExpress just to try them out. But I don't need anything. Just to say I ordered something. It's not very much money, like $12 or something. Too wet. It's funny, I don't even think twice about thinning paints when I'm painting figures. It gets done. But if you told me I have to thin to airbrush, I'm not a fan. But then I'm thinning very small amounts of paint in a very controlled environment with no mess. Thinning with an airbrush is kind of a pain in the butt. You usually just have to mix it once for the figures. Sit your happy ass down. The only thing I hate about ordering from places that aren't the manufacturer is you'll think, you'll put 5 things in and you want to get them all in, or like one of them is critical to get in and they don't have it in stock. And they have everything in stock except the thing you need the most. And you're like, oh. But that's nothing new. That's been going on for years. Okay, now we can go back to the other pair of pants. So your daughter likes New York. What if you're like to move back to Virginia? Would she like freak out? Like, I ain't living in that redneck town. This town that I live in now is the one I've worked in for 30 years. So it's not like it's a strange town, but it is a small town, but it is on the outskirts of the other town that I've always lived in. I mean, literally one exit up. So it's like you're in the same place. But the joke was we were waiting to move up here until they built a decent grocery store. But the decent grocery store, even though it's not needed, brings in other commerce. Like you build a grocery store that's, a top tier one, and other businesses want to come here and like be in the same plaza that the grocery store is, just because it'll get they'll get the same kind of business that'll all come and benefit everybody. If you put an IGA or something, a pig, God forbid, a Piggly Wiggly or something like that, even a Winn-Dixie, it's just not going to bring in, it's not going to attract other businesses the same way that putting a Publix in will. She likes it, but only to visit. There's a really nice lake where I grew up, and we'd probably rent a place on the lake. So I found out yesterday actually, I watched a video, it was recommended to me on YouTube. There's a really nice tank museum in Massachusetts. I had no idea. American Heritage Museum, whatever, it looks pretty nice. If I ever find myself up there, which I've never found myself in Massachusetts, but now there might be a reason to go to Massachusetts. Of course, I don't really want to go with my wife. I want to go with my daughter. My daughter will get less bored of it than my wife. My wife would be like, "It's green. What's the big deal?" And that one place in Virginia, I think closed down. I never got a chance to go to it. I don't remember. It's got a really long name. It starts with an A. It's in Danville, Virginia. And the guy's it's like a private collection. It had like over 200 armored vehicles or something absurd. And, because I never got a chance to go to Aberdeen. By the time I got a chance to go to Aberdeen, stuff in Aberdeen didn't exist. So I've never been to one of those places so they moved you to have all those tanks. They've got one in Fort Benning, but it's not open to the public. I'm like, well, there's lots of stuff that's open to the public that I don't want to freaking go to. Like, why don't let me go to the Army Museum? Like, give me a form that says, I promise I'll never go to fill in the blank. Some place that's funded by the government that I'm not interested in going to. I want to go to that. I want to go to the Army Museum. The problem is I'd want to crawl inside of them. Not necessarily inside, but like on the vehicle. Like take off my glasses and look at the pattern of the armor. Just the stuff that, lay hands on it. Not be disrespectful or destroy it or, chip at the paint. None of that stuff. But just, the stuff you'd expect me to do. Let me get a Coke. I actually have no interest in going inside an armored vehicle. It's claustrophobic. Good way to hit your head on something. I did a search on DAC 15 Panzer Division pictures. There are about 6 pictures of Panzer II with the 8. It looks black with a white outline, but I'm wondering if they also had red. So I thought I was onto something. That, maybe 1 through 4 used red and 5 through 8 used black. Nope. There's no pattern to that. But you got to be careful because sometimes they say, "Oh, this is black," and because it's a black and white picture, it's actually red. We have to stop talking about it. I'm gonna end up repainting one of my Panzer IIs in Africa Corps livery. Because I've got those. I think I can make those solid numbers. I'm pretty sure. Because I've got those decals. I'm like, what am I going to do with solid numbers? And honestly, if you just have to paint one number in a solid color, I'd hand paint it. That's nothing. That's child's play. I got no problem doing that. It's when you got to do like a number in like outline in white. Like that's gonna take a long time. That's gonna whoa, we just can't be changing what we're gonna do here. I gotta keep myself on a short leash. Yeah, see if you can disprove what I was saying about 15th Panzer having one number, and the and the and not over any of the side things either, over any of the side doors. And then the 21st Panzer having three, big over all the side stuff. It's, I mean, you may find an example, but then you have to realize, is this picture actually have the right caption for it? Because people make mistakes. I'm pretty convinced that I'm on the right track. And sometimes the single digit had triple numbers on the back. So like, let's say it was a Panzer IV, right? And you have an 8. So you have a Panzer IV-E, and you have an 8 on the side. Say black 8 for argument's sake. And you flip all the way to the back of the turret on the box, and it would say 821 or something on it, Yeah. Good. Well, I don't pick the conclusions. It's not like, okay, I want this to be the narrative. Now let me find pictures from like, hey, I'm an open mind. I'm fair. I just wish there wasn't stuff I was interested in because I'm gonna do the same tank with the same tact with the Sixth Panzer Division of Wintergewitter. Same thing. Whenever we do the snow vehicles, that's what I'm gonna. But that's I don't even have snow infantry. But those stands are gonna look cool. The same way I like the stands for these, I'm gonna like them because they have a little bit of snow. They're not gonna be totally covered in snow. They'll be like a little snow in a couple different corners. But I'm in no hurry to do that. And I'm not gonna do snow camouflage that looks like shit. Sometimes you have shitty looking camouflage and it's legitimate. Yeah, but to an untrained eye, it looks like you did a crappy job. So I don't want to do that. Maybe a little bit more white, and then we're done with this one. We'll go with the pants. We'll move into this shirt. Said I used this color by mistake. I was so worried about, I gotta make sure this gun crew has shorts on. And then I realized the Simon Soldiers guys don't have shorts on. I'm like, okay, well, whew. You have Panzer Colors books? I do. Mine in Virginia, but I'd love to check those out. I do. What do you want to see out of them? They're not, they're a secondary source compared to the internet. I do have the Panzer Colors, all three. That was like the Bible back in the 90s. And it was really annoying. Like, I wanted to build a model of the Tamiya Crook Props truck, because it's a good looking truck. But you can't find any photograph evidence of back in the 90s of any Krupp Prots in action. You just couldn't. They didn't take pictures of them, or they took pictures and they weren't readily available. Yeah, Panzer Colors 3 is only SS shit, I think. All right, shirt-wise, we've been using the bone color. I'm going to use this sand color. It turns gray. I want it to turn gray. That's the dark color. I bet you money somebody put an illegal copy of them on the internet. Not that I support that. I certainly don't feel bad about looking at it if I have a copy of the book. Like, I remember when I was doing DBA, somebody put like illegal copies or falsified copies of the DBA rules on the internet. It didn't bother me at all. You know, I bought a copy of it. I don't give a care. Like, I don't care what the rules are. I mean, there's rules, and then there's like personal morality. And if I buy a book, I don't mind making photocopies of it. I bought it. I'm not going to hand the photocopies out to anybody. But especially if it's rules that I'm using to teach the game, like, I'm doing you a favor to selling you more copies. Why the hell should I destroy my own book in the process? Like, well, it's not legal. I don't give a fuck if that's legal or not. I'm just saying that that's just some things that are just stupid. I'm not going to hand my copies to somebody else. I had a copy of the DBA rules that I'd photocopied, right? Because I had it in the binder with a plastic sheeting because I was going around. Stopped playing DBA. I threw all that away. I did. True story. I didn't just say, hey, here you go, Mitch. Nope. It's bad enough I ended up ripping a page where I was making a photocopy on them of the book. I know it's karma, whatever. My heart's always in the right place. I don't have problems sleeping at night. I don't need laws to know how to behave. What do you want to check out on the Panzer Colors book? I'll tell you what. Let's go look at them. You won't look at 3. I know what you're looking for. Let's go find some Africa Corps pictures and see what they have in there. Looking at 1 and 2. Panzer Colors 2. Panzer Colors 1. There's no legal risk unless you're using it for commercial purposes. And watch out. Why would I do that? I wouldn't be able to live with myself. That's wrong. I mean, I'm not perfect, but, I have other faults. Wanted to see if there was red numbering for the 8th company. Okay. I'm going to bet that there isn't. But you could do it, and like I said, for a subscription service. So right off the bat, I'm looking at this cover, right? What's wrong with this picture? Here's the quiz. What's wrong with the picture? I know this is like a Roger McGowan type of, doing artwork with an actual photo. What's the first thing that jumps out there? And I mean about the number. It's obviously a panther, 7th company. The only way there would be a panther with a 7th company, from what I've seen, is if both battalions had panthers. As a general rule, the 1st battalion was the one that had the panthers, and the 2nd battalion is the one that had the Panzer IVs. So really, you should only have, panthers should only start with a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, generally. And then the Panzer IVs would be the 5, 6, 7s, and 8s. Just saying, stuff I wouldn't have known, but just from, you look at organization, it's like, at Normandy, none of the Panthers are in the 2nd Battalion. None. And any of the units, they're never in the 2nd Battalion. They're always in the 1st Battalion. So, we're here to learn from each other. Okay, let me give myself a little bit of a height advantage. There we go. So I get better LOS. What? Ooh. Smells like Britain. Okay, Russia 41. Fuck that. We don't care about that. Yeah, this chalk crap, I'm not doing that. Looks like shit. Doesn't look believable. All right. I suspect we're not going to have much in here. Early war period. Here's a Panzer II with a 12 decal. That 12 decal, I believe, comes in the S model one. There's things that interest me, and making a tank 100% accurate isn't one of those things that interest me. Getting the number thing fascinates me. Because it's a way like, okay, how do I have 2 vehicles and make them different? Well, number them differently. German half-tracks tend to not have numbers on them, especially early war. I don't know how they kept track of each other, but German half-tracks almost never have numbers. Oh, look, here's a 221 apparently going into Russia, and the guy's wearing a beret. That's not in style anymore. Okay, this is Winter 41. Ooh, we got a crooked spider there. Turn that page quickly. We don't want to get in trouble. I actually like this winter camo. Wonder if Grossdeutschland had a different organization. Grossdeutschland is like the poster child of exceptions. Maybe. That was the one I always built stuff for when I was doing 1/35th scale stuff. They had a unique symbol. They were an elite unit without being SS scum. I'm not saying they're devoid of all war crimes. I'm just saying that Grossdeutschland is better than SS guys. And that really shouldn't be a point of argument. Whoa, another crooked spider. This is the classic photo from GHQ Micro Armor. Oh, let that go right there. It doesn't offend me. I just, we don't want marks and stuff on the thing. Another German half-track with no markings on it. Okay, Deutsches Afrika Korps. All right, let's take a look at this. So here is this famous picture that's in North Africa, 5th Light Division. there's 3 or 4 or 5 different shots of this particular assembly of vehicles. And if you look at this is a fifth light. And if you look at this, these are all hollow numbers on black, white hollow, and they're hand painted. So you can't tell from this one, but there's a row and all the 8s look slightly different. All the 2s, there's actually one vehicle that has, it's like 822 or something like that. And the 2 2s look different from each other. You know, like they're hand painted. Like, you know, somebody did a good job, but they're not like perfect. So that's like comforting. And these are what, Panzer 1s, and they all are attached to the, this one's attached to the 8th Company, and these 2 are attached to the 2nd Battalion, which makes sense because the 2nd Battalion is the command element of the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Okay, and these are Panzer 4Ds. Yeah, I got a soft spot for Panzer 4Ds. I built the Tamiya kit, and I Africa cored mine. Okay, here's the color plates. Well, there's a crooked spider on there. I may take my 222s and turn them into Africa Corps. I haven't decided yet. Here's another German half-track, no markings. German half-tracks are really rare in the desert, though. They're really rare in the desert. They were rare as the mobile infantry, and they're really rare in the desert. Now, what do we got here? I got to look at this right side up. Okay, here's this SDKFZ 11. Here's a 263. Just looks weird without the turret back in the back, without the thing on the back of the turret. It just looks odd to me. Here's a command vehicle of the 21st Panzer, and it's got three numbers on it. Okay, let's look for. Yeah. Panzer 3J on Tripoli over bridge. This vehicle's painted. What are we doing? We're clipping these guys? Go away. Here's a captured vehicle. I think that's a Ford something or another. Okay. And by the way, I haven't even looked in this book when I came to these conclusions. So according to this, is a Panzer 2F, Libya 15th Panzer Division. Hollow white numbers. This is how I'm going to do mine. I'm going to put a small number down here at the bottom on all of them. So like, let's say I want to do a 4th company, right? So we'll have a big 4 up here, and down will be, 421. And on the back of the turret will be 421. 421 in the same size as this big 4. So this 4 and the 421 the same size, and then down here hand painted probably 421. That's how I'm going to do it. And sometimes I won't do it down here, but I'll put it on the back of all the turrets. This is the command vehicle, the first battalion. It's got to be 21st. With the big numbers like that. There's another photo of this thing. Let's see if that matches. Of course, they could have the nomenclature written down wrong on here. This vehicle. Panzer III command tank showing the application of yellow-brown paint in a grid pattern over the dark gray paint on the turret. The hull has more even smeared coat of the yellow paint. This is a vehicle in the 21st Panzer Division. Correct. This should be 21st Panzer. Don't know what the nomenclature is for Tunisia. Don't care about Tunisia. Tunisia is something different. I don't dislike Tunisia. It's just something different. And that's all Panzer Colors gives you. It doesn't tell you shit for North Africa. Let's go to Panzer Colors 2. We've got 2 places to check on that one, because these are all by division. Okay? We got 15th and 21st. So let's go to the 15th. I always like this one that showed all the symbols on it. Black Friday is for the birds. I done got too, somebody's from the South. I done got too old to be smashing through crows for a TV. Yeah. 'Cause- Okay, so let's get to the 15th Panzer Division stuff. What's worse than German tanks with a white cross on them? German tanks with a yellow cross on them. This is weird. A Panzer II with IN3 on it. I've never seen that before. But that's 1940s. That's different. I always like this photo. This guy always looks like he just shit his pants. You are from the South. Oh, we're having a great morning, man. Thanks for joining us. Okay, now we're getting close here. 804, big numbers, over the division device on the side, 21st Panzer Division symbol. Nailed it. Oh, look. Single red number. Of course, this is a really late. This is like Gazala or later. Sixth company, one digit, 15th Panzer Division in red. And down here it says 632. So the number is the company number. So you could easily do like a bunch of Panzer IIIs that all have the same number, but then they could be different numbers down here. And I'm going to put that 632 at the back of the turret. Still looking for Panzer IIs. This is big numbers, 5th Light Division. No. Hummels. That ain't Africa. Well, that's the 15th. Let's go to the 21st area. Right? Oh, no, they're out of sequence. Okay, so we're talking about the 7th here, 9th, 10th, 11th. I always like the 11th, but they have weird numbering systems with only 2 digits, so that like works against them. Like, let's look at the 15th. Okay, here is that famous photo. Okay, and I think it's supposed to be a black 8. It definitely has white around it. There's no doubt about it. It has white around that number. And here's that 632. Okay, let's read this. 15th Panzer Division was formed in late 40 and April 41. It was sent to Africa as part as the DAC. The divisional sign was a triangle divided by a vertical bar, usually painted in red, black, or sometimes white. Panzer Regiment 8 of this division had a regimental symbol of wolf's angle, wolf trap, usually painted in red. Right, it's usually the back of the turret. As part of the DAC, all 15 Panzer Division vehicles could carry the white palm tree insignia for this corps. 15th Panzer Division usually painted only the company numbers on its tanks. Oh, look, it's written right there. And I guess I should have just looked at this first. Well, there's no point in making a video. It's common freaking knowledge, apparently. How stupid of me. Well, I proved them correct. 15th Panzer Division also usually painted only the company numbers on its tanks in Africa. Most common were red numbers, but black, sometimes outlined in white, were also seen. A system of playing card symbols was used by Panzer Regiment 8 in Tunisia, but regrettably no record or memory of this has survived, so far as is known. So this one is a Panzer II of the 8th Company, 2nd Battalion. Well, obviously it's going to be the 2nd Battalion if it's in the 8th Company. In Libya, 1941. 8 is black and white. The division sign is red. See, that's weird to have a black and white number, but then the symbol is red. And the DAC palm trees are white. Overall vehicle color is yellow-brown. Damn it, I feel like deflated. After getting all excited about it, I was going to have something new, and like, it's been in this book since 1970, whatever, since 79, I bet. 78. I'm off by 1 year. What do you have here? Command Tank Panzer III of 1st Battalion, Panzer Regiment 8, displays an interesting variant of the 15th Panzer Division sign. The symbol is in the vehicle color, but the surrounding circular field is red. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I've seen that before. One is also red on a yellow-brown vehicle. I kind of like the red numbers. I don't mind the black numbers either, but I like the red numbers. Regrettably, only a partial view. This photo of a Panzer III stowage bin shows the most markings carried by tanks. Panzer Regiment 8, 15th Panzer Division. One is black. I guess you can only make it down here. Black and white. The palm trees white of the 15th Panzer Division and Panzer Regiment 8 symbol are in red. Now, let's go to 21st and see if it says the same thing. Damn it, I was so excited about doing... I thought I was onto something. This thing's weird. Why does this have the middle number as a 7? That just... There definitely did some obfuscation of screw the enemy. Might just be one of them. Not a lot of 21st stuff. Let's see where it talks about it. Damn it. I thought it was onto something. Okay. 21st Panzer Division was actually 2 divisions. The first 21st Panzer was formed in the summer of 41 from the 5th Light, itself drawn largely from the 3rd Panzer. 21st Panzer Division formed part of the DAC, and all vehicles usually carry the DAC palm tree sign as well as the white D split by a horizontal line. This was sometimes almost a rectangle rather than D. Many of these signs were hand-painted. This first 21st Panzer Division was destroyed in Tunisia with all the other German forces in Africa. Right, and the second one is the one that was in... First German forces in North Africa were drawn from the Panzer Regiment 5, 3rd Panzer Division, organized the 5th Light Division. This unit here was later reformed as the 21st Panzer Division. Here the Panzer 1s, 2s, and 4s carrying their European color scheme, dark gray with white outline numbers. Even later, 21st Panzer Division tanks commonly had white outline turret numbers. If there's anything else that says... Yeah. Well, if you do them in red, it stands out that it's definitely North Africa. And it gives you a use for those red numbers, because what the hell are you going to use a red number? I mean, you don't use red numbers on top of gray. So I'd go red. I'd do red without the white outline, because the white outline in red gets used for, Europe anyways, so. There's a lot of things about World War II I don't know, and I used to be knee-deep into that years ago. Yeah. Oh, but some of the stuff that we're interested in never was documented. So, one more thing, food for thought. And you do an internet search, which is always the first place I go. See what kind of nonsense we got on here. Africa Corps decals. Okay. Images. And I'm looking to see if there's something that has Panzer IIs in it. Africa Mix Panzer IIs. Are these Petting House? No, these are Star decals. Okay, so you've got that view right there. And there could be errors in this, okay? This is not foolproof. There could be errors in here. But these two Panzer IIs of the 15th Panzer Division both have black numbers, looks like with white outlines. Single. Here we have a command tank. Now it looks like this doesn't even have any dust on it. Definitely wouldn't use black numbers without any white outlines on a black tank. You wouldn't be able to see it. Unknown unit. Well, I'll tell you what unit it is. It's probably 5th Light Division. Because it's big freaking numbers and it still has some gray on it. Medical officer? Ossifer? Medical officer. Why does a medical officer get a tank? Man, I've treated all my wounded. What do I do? Here you go. Go, Hauptmann. Here's your panzer. Go wound some people so you can go work on them. 5th Light Division, Tobruk, 1941. Big numbers, hollow. What else do we have? Petting House decals suck. You've been warned. However, they do have stuff on here that has a multitude of different vehicles. Is there a Panzer II in here? Sometimes it's kind of hard to see. Let me give you an example. It's not a Panzer II, but this is a Panzer IIIJ of the 15th Panzer Division. And it has a big 5. Black number highlighted in white. With a big 531 that probably goes on the back of the turret like I was planning on doing it. There's only one of them. And 2 smaller 531s, so they probably go on the side somewhere. Panzer IIF, 21st Panzer Division. Black numbers highlighted in white, but they're huge. That's a 2nd Battalion vehicle of the 21st. We've seen photo evidence of this one, Panzer IIF, 2nd Company, 15th Panzer Regiment. It's apparently 2nd Company, 1st Platoon, 4th Vehicle. and that's big hollow black numbers. But that's probably the exception. Here's a Panzer 3J for the 15th Panzer, second company. Doesn't look like it's got any other smaller numbers on it. Well, that's just silly. You can't have a bunch of number 2s running around. You gotta identify them. So it looks like for the most part, there's probably exceptions to it. But here's a first company, Panzer 3J. Got a big 1 and then a 1, 2, 3 that goes on the back of the turret. So the good thing about putting a single number on the side of the turret, which I'm not a fan of the single number, but you don't have to go over any vision ports. So the size of the decal doesn't get distorted. What else has Panzer 2s in it? This has Panzer 2s in it. See if I can make out what it says. Here's that lucky 4. So far what I could tell as a general rule, if we're talking about the 15th Panzer Division, 1st Battalion seems to be more likely to use red numbers. The 2nd Battalion more likely to use black. So that black 8 jives with that. So you're doing the black ones, I'll probably do red ones, just to mix it up. Not they're ever going to meet, but just saying, to be different. Now look at this. It's kind of hard to say. Look at this single number 4 on this Panzer 4. I don't know if it's a D or an E. It's kind of hard to tell from that angle. They still have it going over the doors, which sucks. But there's only one number. So the problem with going over the doors is you've got, it's like if you're putting, let me use this as an example. This is about the size of one of those German vision slits. So let's say you had 3 numbers, right? 4, 3, 1 or whatever, right? And you're going to paint them on the side of your German tank, right? You paint a 4 here and it's this big. And you paint a 4 here and you put a decal over it. It's the same size decal, but because you have to go over this edge, across here and go down that edge, these two are going to make the size of the decal look smaller. And they will. And that's the problem with going over the side, because I microsolved mine, and I mean it's flat, but it's smaller too. So I don't know how you fix that. Other than you hand paint that middle number. At that point you might as well hand paint all 3 of them. So I think I could probably make the conclusion that the 2nd Battalion is all black, or black and white. The white makes them pop a little bit. This is in a decal set, but there's no Panzer 2s in there. All right, we're not done yet. Afrika Korps decals, Panzer 2. And you might not be able to get the right answer, but you could form some conclusions. Like, I'm glad I was able to prove Panzer colors correct. Okay, here's another example. I'm telling you, I'm onto some shit. Panzer 2F, 15th Panzer Division, and it has a single number and it's in red. Yeah, so definitely do five, six, sevens, and eights. Use that as your main number, and you're good. I won't have to shun you in public. No, I think that's the tie-in. Again, Here's a first battalion that has black numbers. Well, why is that? Well, it's 21st. It's not 15th. So I don't see any evidence to contradict what I just mentioned. I don't see any evidence to do that, to contradict that. Here's another one. Or is this the same decal set? Star decals, Africa. Same thing. Is this all Panzer twos? It is. Let's see what we got here. Panzer twos. Which one of these are for Africa? Italy, Africa. This is a two hollow. A hollow two. Okay, well, here's an exception to the rule, assuming it's correct. Panzer II F, 15th Panzer Division, Gazala, May 1942, and it's a hollow 2 in black. Okay, well, that's 1 in one direction and 15 in the other direction, so I'm still pretty comfortable with that decision. And the 1-6, Panzer II-C, 15th Panzer Division, Libya, January 1942. They still have Panzer II-Cs in 42 running around, and that's a 6 vehicle in the first battalion, which we agreed should be red. So I'm pretty comfortable. I'm pretty comfortable with that. I'm pretty comfortable with that decision. And we haven't even gone to scalemates. Even if everything in scalemates was different, I'm pretty convinced that that's what that is for the 15th Panzer Division. And like I said, the problem with the 21st is you're going over the you're going over those side things all the time. Has track turret on the turret. This Kulan Panzer III has so much stuff on the turret, I don't think a number will show through, except where the back storage is. Well, then you can use all three numbers. And if I had to pick one style that looks the best, it's black with a white outline. If I can only do one style, it would be black with a white outline. It looks the best. It's not glaring. The white around it makes it pop. It looks the best one. It looks better in all the camouflage scheme. If it's gray, it looks good. If it's yellow, it looks good. If it's three color, it looks good. So that's what you should go with. Black with a hot with black with a hot no black with a outline, and if you keep your Panzer twos all that start with a number 8, you can use them from the beginning to the end. I don't know if they changed, because at the beginning when they first landed, there was Panzer twos that were in the other companies other than the 4th and the 8th company. But I think as things went on, they're like, these things are just trouble. We need to get them out of the regular main battle tank things. So if you have one that's like labeled 5, maybe in like Gazala they wouldn't have them anymore. It'd be like, those things aren't going to be part of the main companies anymore. So that is my official, inexperienced, observational opinion. I'm gonna go take a leak, and then we'll be right back to the desert rats. Thanks for the detour dive. Well, I did it for you, but I did it for me. Like, now I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the red ones. I mean, if I do a dive for you, it's usually something I'm interested in myself. And sometimes I got to like verbalize it, like to go through there and, and figure it out. I mean, we live in a golden age of like there's photos and stuff. And some of the photo references aren't labeled correctly. You have to, got to do the old tick thing, but is that really the case? I don't know. Figure it out. It helps to not have an agenda like, I got to make sure that these things are like, dude, have an open mind. I mean, if you don't care, I mean, you can label them however the hell you want, but, I'm probably going to only have one German half track. So it's probably not going to have any numbers on it. I mean, for Africa. I mean, hell, there's only one scenario with them, so it's probably not going to have any number on it. If I did put a number, maybe I'd put a number down here at the back somewhere where I could, when a certain vehicle comes up, we know that it's that one. Half me wants to look at the 21st Panzer Division. I think I'm really comfortable about like, I think I've solved the 15th. So it's like, okay, it's solved the 21st. I guarantee that there's a correlation there. Like, okay, 1st Battalion always use the whole white ones and the other ones use it. I'm sure that there's a correlation there. There's got to be. And maybe not in every instance, but generally, And that's just cool. That's like, I want to paint a certain unit. Well, you need to paint it a certain way. If I had to hand paint hollow numbers, I'd probably paint them solid and then go in with a center and take the center out with whatever the base color is. It could be done. I could do it. It would just take a long time. It's not like I can't do it. Oh, I can do it. Oh, I can do it all right. I'm sure, I almost want to do it as a challenge. Don't get me started. But, I almost want to do it as a challenge. I can't look into it. Well, I can. I just can't see anything. I think this is one of them. Nope. That's the Hasagawa one. These are the two Armor Fast Panzer 4Ds. These aren't great models. So, one time, hey, I could offer a core these things up and we can make them the fourth company, the lucky company that blows up. But it'd just be easier just to get a couple from what's his face. From get 3D printed ones. Because it's not like we don't need them for Russia. We need them for Russia also. I can't believe they're not available anymore. The armor fast is kaput. Yeah. I always liked that vehicle. But it might, with the turret thing. But it's because I built the Tamiya one. Yeah, I'm gonna leave these things alone. There's no point in undoing something I'm perfectly happy with. But I'm not scared of doing fourth company vehicles. I don't believe in luck. Okay, man. Stir in the pot with the people. Now you know what to do, and you can go on your happy way. You did painting first thing in the morning. Now the rest of your day can be a success. Let's get this. This dried a bit on me when we went and did our dive. No big deal. going to have to sub in some other guys, but they don't necessarily have to be parts of the main gun crew. But this only comes with 2 guys. And the gun crew's got to be at least 3 folks. So, I mean, 2 guys, well, hell, 1 person can fire the gun. But they're going to be the loader, too, you know. That's not how you start the battle with. You know, you don't start off with, like, hey, we got 1 guy. Hopefully, it's one hell of a deficit to be at. And I didn't realize this is a work day for a lot of folks, so. But anyways, getting back to your question about, I was in the middle of a deep dive about Black Friday. I don't really look forward to buying anything. Certainly not going to a store. Those days are over. They made going to stores way too inconvenient. Nobody has anything. You can't ask anybody any questions. You know. Waste a lot of gas driving over town, all over town. Well, let's do this gray green on here. No. How long will we be on here? A couple hours? Yeah, 2 hours. I feel got like nothing done in 2 hours. That's okay. It's all good. It's all good. We'll get a little. We'll see if we can get some momentum going. If not, we'll stop and go have breakfast. Got these disappearing straps here. Go and paint them in. Go and paint them in just to paint over them. Sometimes you don't get a good idea what this looks like until you put in the final color, the final highlight. An entrenching tool for the first time, like, wow. I think it'll look okay color wise. Yeah, definitely. I was just concerned when there's like a crew for this gun and there's no, they're not wearing shorts. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and stop for the morning.